In the far corners of space, the great Zifar Dominion ruled many star systems. The Zifar were a strong alien race with powerful ships and advanced technology. They had conquered many planets and feared no enemy. But now they had heard stories about a new ship, a human battleship called the Aegis. This ship was said to be different, stronger and smarter than anything they had seen before. Commander Vrax was in charge of a group of Zifar scout ships. His mission was to find the human battleship and scan it. The Dominion wanted to know its secrets. What made this human ship so special? Was it dangerous? Could it be defeated? Vrax's ships moved carefully through space, circling the Aegis from a safe distance. They sent out powerful sensors to scan the ship's hull and engines. Data started coming back, but it was strange. The ship's shields seemed to absorb the sensor waves, and the armor showed materials the Zifar had never seen. The weapon systems looked powerful, but their exact nature was unclear. Vrax frowned as he studied the results. "This ship is unlike anything we have faced before," he said to his crew. "It is bigger and tougher than most battleships. Its technology is far beyond our current knowledge." Back at the Zifar capital, scientists and military leaders gathered around screens showing the scan data. They tried to understand how the ship worked, but their computers kept failing to decode the human technology. The ship seemed to repair itself slowly and adapt to attacks. It was like the ship had a mind of its own. One scientist, Zol, said nervously, "Commander, our weapons may not work well against this battleship. We need to be very careful." The Zifar leaders debated what to do next. They did not want to start a war without knowing more. So they sent a message to the human ship, asking for a peaceful meeting. They wanted to talk and maybe form an alliance, or at least avoid fighting. The human ship's communications officer, Lieutenant Jaira, received the message. She read it carefully and then looked at Captain Hale. "The Zifar want to talk," she said. "They may want to make peace, or they may be trying to trick us. We must be ready for anything." Captain Hale nodded. He was calm and confident. "Prepare a reply. Tell them we do not want war, but we will protect ourselves if needed. The humans have survived many dangers. We will not back down now." The humans on the Aegis worked quickly. Their ship was large and strong. The hull was made from special alloys that could heal small damages. Their weapons were fast and powerful. But what made the ship special was the people inside. Humans were creative and brave. They faced every challenge with hope and courage. The message was sent back to the Zifar. They waited for a reply. Commander Vrax looked at the stars and thought, "We have scanned their ship. We know some of their power, but we do not know their true strength. The humans may be stronger than we imagined." Far from the Zifar, on the bridge of the Aegis, Captain Hale prepared his crew. "This meeting could change everything," he said. "But whatever happens, we must show them what humanity is made of." In the silent space between stars, two very different races waited. One scanned and studied. The other prepared to defend. The human battleship Aegis was ready, and soon the Zifar would understand why they wished they had never scanned it. The space between the human battleship Aegis and the Zifar scout ships was quiet but full of tension. Both sides waited. For the next move, the Zifar hoped to learn more about the humans' power. Humans knew this meeting could be dangerous. Captain Hale stood on the bridge of the Aegis, looking at the stars. Around him, his crew worked calmly but with focus. He knew the Zifar were strong, but he also knew humans were stronger in their hearts. Lieutenant Jara moved to the communications console. "We have a message from the Zifar," she said. "They want to meet us at a nearby space station. They say it is neutral ground." Hale nodded. "Set course for the station. Let's show them we come in peace, but we are ready." The Aegis changed direction smoothly. Its powerful engines glowed softly. The Zifar ships followed closely behind, their scanners still active. As they approached the station, Captain Hale thought about the stories he had heard. The Zifar believed their technology was the best in the galaxy. Many alien races feared them. But humans were different. Humans never gave up. They fought for their families, their homes, and their freedom. That made them dangerous. When the Aegis docked at the station, Captain Hale and a small team prepared to leave the ship. The Zyphar officers waited in the station's meeting hall. The room was cold and empty. With high windows showing the stars outside, Commander Vrax was the first to speak. "Humans," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Your battleship is unlike anything we have ever seen. Your technology confuses us. Tell us, why are you so powerful?" Captain Hale smiled slightly. "Because we work together. We use our minds, our hearts, and our courage. Our technology is strong, but our people are stronger." Vrax frowned. "That sounds like words. We want facts." Lieutenant Jarrah stepped forward. "Our ship is built to protect our people. It can heal itself and fight many enemies at once. But the real power is in the crew. Humans think fast and adapt. We don't just follow orders, we solve problems." The Zyphar officers whispered among themselves. Vrax looked serious. "We respect your spirit, but the galaxy is dangerous. If we do not grow stronger, we will be destroyed." Hale nodded. "We understand. That is why we want peace. But if you threaten us, we will fight with everything we have." Sounded in the station. A warning flashed. "Unknown ships entering system." Everyone turned to the windows. From the darkness of space, a fleet of ships appeared. Not Zyphar, not human. These were the Crass, a ruthless pirate group known for attacking anyone in their path. The Crass fleet moved fast, their weapons ready. They wanted to capture the station and take control of the system. Commander Vrax and Captain Hale looked at each other. They knew this battle would decide their future. "Humans," Vrax said quickly, "will you fight with us against the Crass?" Hale did not hesitate. "We fight together." The Aegis quickly returned to its ship. The Zyphar scouts moved to their battle positions. The station's defenses powered up. The Crass attacked with fury. Their ships fired energy beams and missiles. The battle was fierce and loud, even in the quiet of space. But the Aegis was ready. Shields absorbed the attacks, and its weapons fired back with power. The human crew worked as one. They repaired damage, launched counterattacks, and saved Zyphar ships that were hit. Commander Vrax was surprised. The humans were not just tough, they were smart. Their tactics changed quickly, and their ship seemed almost alive, moving like a predator hunting its prey. In the middle of the battle, Captain Hale took control of the Aegis main cannon. He aimed at the largest Crass ship, the flagship. With a strong blast, the Aegis hit the ship's engines. The Crass flagship lost power and drifted helpless. Seeing their leader fall, the Crass ships began to retreat. The Zyphar and humans chased them out of the system. After the fight, the Zyphar officers were quiet. Commander Vrax turned to Hale. "You and your ship saved this system. We owe you thanks." Hale smiled. "We did it together. Maybe this is the start of something new, a chance for our races to work as one." Vrax nodded slowly. "Perhaps. We have much to learn." As the battle ended, both sides knew one thing clearly. Humans were not to be underestimated.
Ow.
The Aegis was more than a battleship, was a symbol of human strength and spirit, and the galaxy was about to change forever. After the battle with the Crass pirates, the Zyphar and humans stood side by side in victory. The space station was damaged, but safe. The Crass had been pushed back, and for the first time, Zyphar had seen what humans could truly do. Commander Vrax walked through the halls of the space station with Captain Hale. Around them, teams from both sides were helping repair the damage. Human engineers worked fast, using machines the Zyphar had never seen before. Small spider-like bots crawled along walls, welding cracks and sealing broken pipes. Vax watched with quiet amazement. "Your machines, your people. ... They are fast." Smiled. "That's how humans survive. We adapt, we learn quickly, and we don't like sitting still." The two leaders entered the command room, where Lieutenant Jarrah was showing some Zyphar officers how human targeting systems worked. The Zyphar looked confused but curious. "This is just a sample model," Jarrah explained. "It predicts enemy movement using patterns and past data." That's how we hit the Krass flagship. One Zyphar engineer blinked his red eyes. You do not wait for orders? You let the machine decide? No, Jarrah replied. We let the people decide. The machine gives options. The crew makes the choice. That was something the Zyphar had never done before. In their system, only high commanders gave orders. Soldiers and crew followed without question. As the human and Zyphar crews worked together, something strange began to happen. They started learning from each other. Zyphar soldiers admired the humans' bold ideas. Humans were impressed by the Zyphar's discipline and speed. Meanwhile, back on the human ship Aegis, something unusual was happening. The ship's AI, named Athena, had been monitoring everything since the battle. Athena, to Captain Hale. The voice spoke calmly through the bridge speakers. I have detected a new energy signal near the outer asteroid belt. It does not match Zyphar, Krass, or human tech. Hale looked up. Is it a threat? Unknown, Athena replied. But it is growing stronger. Hall pressed a button on the console. Sent a message to Vrax. We need to investigate together. Soon the Aegis and 2 Zyphar ships moved toward the asteroid belt. The stars disappeared behind rocks and shadows. The strange signal grew louder then. From the darkness, a shape appeared, a huge black ship, silent and terrifying. It had no lights, no visible weapons, and no communication. But it radiated pure energy, more than anything the Aegis had ever scanned. Lieutenant Jarrah gasped. What is that? Athena's voice was firm. It is not alive. It is not a ship. It is ... something else. Suddenly, the Aegis systems began to glitch. Screens flickered. Lights dimmed. Athena's voice broke up. Unknown ... interference ... cannot hold ... At! The black object sent out a wave of energy. One of the Zyphar ships spun out of control and crashed into an asteroid. Rax shouted through the comms. What is this thing? We are under attack. Lay. Took control. Defensive formation. Fall back. Don't engage. But the wave hit again, and this time the Aegis shook violently. Hull plates groaned. Even the special armor couldn't stop the pressure. Deep inside the Aegis, Athena's core systems fought back. She rerouted power, blocked signals, and slowly regained control. On the bridge, the crew worked in perfect sync. Humans and Zyphar officers shouted across consoles, helping each other. We're holding, Jarrah said. But not for long. Then, the strange black object stopped. The energy wave faded. The darkness pulled back. And just like that, it was gone. Silence filled space once more. What was that thing? Rax asked, still breathing heavily. Hale answered, something old. Something powerful. And something that doesn't like being watched. As the 2 fleets returned to the station, one thing was clear. There were bigger threats in the galaxy. And if humans and Zyphar wanted to survive, they had to stand together. The black object had vanished, but its shadows still remained in everyone's mind. Back at the space station, pairs continued, but the mood had changed. Humans and Zyphar were no longer just allies. They were partners against a bigger unknown. Both sides had seen something they didn't understand, and that made them uneasy. Inside the war room, Captain Hale stood beside Commander Vrax. Holograms of the strange object flickered on the table between them. What do we call it? Jarrah asked. Vrax crossed his arms. We have a name in our ancient records. Long ago, our ancestors spoke of a dark force, something that fed on energy and data. They called it the Void Eater. Captain Hale looked thoughtful. Do you believe those stories? I didn't, Vrax said quietly. Until now. Scientists on both sides began working together to study the energy waves from the encounter. The readings were strange. Parts of the signal looked almost like a language. But the message, if it was one, was broken and unclear. Meanwhile, the crew of the Aegis remained on high alert. Athena, the ship's AI, was still recovering from the attack. Systems are stable, Athena said. I am unable to track the Void Eater. It moves outside normal space. Lieutenant Jarrah shook her head. How do we fight something we can't even find? That question hung heavy in the air. A few hours later, a Zyphar scout ship returned from a nearby system. It had gone silent for several minutes before returning with its engines damaged and its crew shaken. The Void Eater is spreading, the pilot reported. It destroyed 2 colonies. No survivors. It absorbs energy, life, even thoughts. We tried to warn the others. We were too late. Panic began to grow. Vrax looked at Hale. If we don't stop this now, it will consume us all, Captain. Hale stood straight. Then we fight, but not like before. We combine everything, human ideas, Zyphar tech, and speed. We build something new. In the engineering bay of the Aegis, humans and Zyphar worked side by side. They mixed Earth's experimental tech with Zyphar's energy weapons. They upgraded Athena's core, adding layers of protection and backup memory. For the first time, both species designed something together, a fusion defense system. They called it Project Unity. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a full system, shields that could bend around energy waves, scanners that used emotion signals as well as data, and a smart AI that could sense patterns even in chaos. As Project Unity neared completion, Athena came online stronger than before. I can now track faint echoes of the Void Eater, she announced. It is heading toward the Zyphar core worlds. We must act fast. The fleet gathered the Aegis, 5 Zyphar cruisers, and 3 smaller human ships. They moved together through the stars. It's no longer separate armies, but one united force. As they approached the target system, darkness met them again. The Void Eater stood like a black hole, silent and massive. It's feeding on their star, Jera whispered. Killing the sun. Athena's voice came through clear. I have one shot. No, I can launch Unity's core and trap the creature. In a data loop, confuse it. Hold it long enough for the fleet to strike. Captain Hale looked at Vrax. Vrax nodded. Trust you. Launch Unity, Hale ordered. A bright orb left the Aegis, glowing blue. It flew toward the Void Eater. As it made contact, everything stopped. Even light seemed frozen. The creature twitched, confused. Then the human and Zyphar ships fired together. Laser blasts, plasma beams, and missiles struck the dark being. From every side, for the first time, it screamed, a silent, sharp pulse that shook every mind in the system. The Void Eater began to fade, breaking into millions of small particles. The danger was over. For now, but in the silence that followed, Athena spoke one final line. It was not alone. The silence after the battle was deep, but it didn't bring peace. The Void Eater had vanished, destroyed by the combined power of humans and Zyphar. Yet Athena's final words echoed in everyone's mind. It was not alone. Back on the Aegis, Captain Hale sat quietly in the command chair. The lights were dim, and the ship was running low on power after the fight. Engineers were working hard to bring everything back to full strength. Lieutenant Jera walked onto the bridge. Repairs are going well, she reported. Zyphar crews are helping in engineering. Unity core is still stable. Captain Hale nodded. Good. And the scans. Athena's voice came through the speakers. I have detected 2 more faint signals, similar to the Void Eater. One is far from here, but the other is moving toward us. The crew froze. How much time do we have? Hale asked. 17 hours, Athena replied. Commander Vrax, who had arrived on the bridge, clenched his fists. This enemy is not just one creature. It is a species, maybe even a force of nature. Captain Hale stood. Then we can't wait. We have to warn others and prepare for another fight. The humans and Zyphar held a joint emergency meeting. Holograms showed the path of the new signal. It was faster than the first. Smarter, maybe. Definitely more dangerous. We call this new one the Echo, Athena said. It is smaller, but more active. It interferes with communications and seems to feed on fear. Zyphar leaders argued, should we flee? Move our people to safer systems? But Hale raised his hand. No, if we run, we lose everything. They will follow us. This is our chance to stand and fight. Commander Vrax agreed. Together.
Yes.
Hours passed. Project Unity was upgraded. The engineers added emotional stabilizers, special tech that kept the crew calm, even under psychic attack. Humans donated parts from old Earth warships. Sci-Fi shared new energy cores. While the ship was being prepared, the crew gathered in the common area. It was rare for humans and Sci-Fi to sit together and talk, but now they laughed, told stories, and shared food. Some Sci-Fi even tried human coffee and didn't hate it. Jera looked around. A few days ago, we were strangers. Now we're family. Captain Hale smiled. This is what scares the enemy most. Not our weapons, not our ships, but our unity. Then the signal arrived. The echo came from the darkness like a shadow with wings. It was fast and strange, shifting shapes, sending out waves of fear. Suddenly, the Aegis lights flickered. Some crew members felt dizzy. Thoughts became cloudy. It's trying to break our minds, Athena warned. Hold on, stay calm. The emotional stabilizers activated. A soft glow filled the ship. Music played, a low, warm sound made to help the brain focus. Slowly, the crew came back to their senses. Captain Hale stood tall. Fire Unity Core. Let's show it who we are. The upgraded core sent out a new kind of energy, not to destroy, but to confuse. It sent emotions back to the echo. Courage. Friendship. Love. Hope. The creature paused. It twisted in space like it was unsure then, for the first time. The crew heard a voice inside their minds. Cold. Curious. Not angry. Why do you resist? Jara whispered. It's speaking to us. Ali replied firmly. Because we have something worth protecting. The echo screamed, but not in pain, in fear. The fleet launched a final attack. This time it didn't take long. The echo shattered, into pieces, disappearing like dust in the wind. Silence returned. But this time felt like victory. Commander Vrax stepped forward. Captain Hale, you were right. Humanity is stronger than we imagined. Hale looked out the window where stars slowly appeared again. And now, you're part of it too. But Athena interrupted softly. There are more. The stars looked. Peaceful again, but deep inside. Everyone knew the war was not over, after the echo was destroyed. The crew of the Aegis began to feel a new weight, not fear, but responsibility. They had faced 2 deadly enemies and survived. Now, they had to prepare for more. Athena's voice echoed through the ship. Scans confirm multiple distant signals. At least 4 more similar life forms exist. They're spread across the galaxy, sleeping for now. Captain Hale stood in the center of the bridge. He looked calm, but his mind was racing. How long before they wake? I cannot say, Athena replied. But they are watching. Commander Vrax entered the bridge with 2 Sci-Fi scientists. They carried a small device glowing with soft green light. This is a memory core, Vrax explained. It was found on one of our oldest colony ruins. We believe it belonged to an ancient race. Maybe they faced the same enemy.
Ow.
They connected the core to the ship's main console. A flicker of light filled the room, and an old hologram began to speak. The voice was slow and deep. We were the Varen. We discovered a race beyond time, not alive, not dead. We call them the Shadowborn. They feed on thought, emotion, and light. We could not destroy them, so we hid. The message ended. Silence filled the bridge. Lieutenant Jara finally spoke. So these things have been here for a long time. No one has ever beaten them. Captain Hale clenched his fists. Maybe they didn't have what we have. Not just fighting with weapons, we're fighting with unity. At that moment, Athena interrupted again. Emergency signal detected from Earth. Everyone froze. Earth Hale asked. What kind of signal? Athena paused. A city. In South America, a dark cloud appeared over it. Communications lost. Military forces unable to respond, Jara gasped. It's begun. Without waiting, Captain Hale gave the order. Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. The Aegis turned, engines glowing bright. 3 Sci-Fi cruisers followed close behind. Ours. Later, they arrived in Earth's orbit. The sight below was terrifying. A black shadow hovered over a large city. Buildings were crumbling. Skies were dark. Energy waves pulsed from the cloud, shutting down planes and power lines. People ran in panic. "This one is stronger," Athena warned. "It's already feeding." Captain Hale turned to Vrax. You with us?" Vrax gave a sharp nod. "To the end." The Aegis lowered into the atmosphere. Its shields glowed blue as it pushed through the black mist. The Zyphar ships followed, blasting openings in the shadow. On the ground, human rescue. Teams watched in shock as the massive ship descended from the clouds. For the first time, civilians saw Zyphar ships not as enemies, but as protectors. Athena activated citywide speakers. "This is the UHS Aegis. Stay calm. Help is here." In the center of the dark cloud, a figure formed tall, with long limbs and glowing red eyes. "It was not just feeding, it was learning. It knows our weakness," Jara whispered. "It's smarter than the others." But Hale stood firm. "Then we give it something it doesn't understand, hope." Using Project Unity, they launched a wide-range signal full of human emotions, childhood laughter, music, memories of love and friendship. They added Zyphar memories too, stories of loyalty, honor, and trust. The creature stopped moving. For a moment it shook violently. Then it screamed, not in rage, but confusion. The fleet fired everything they had. Light filled the sky. With one final blast, the creature cracked open like glass, then vanished into dust below. The city lights slowly came back on. People looked up and cheered. Captain Hale watched the screen, quiet but proud. "That's what we protect." Commander Vrax looked at him. "And now the whole galaxy knows humanity stands for more than war. You stand for life. But even in victory," Athena whispered one final warning. "There's a signal from beyond the galaxy." The battle over Earth was won. The dark creature had been destroyed, and the people below were safe. But the victory felt heavy. On the bridge of the Aegis, Captain Hale stood still, staring at the stars on the screen. Athena's voice broke the silence, "Captain. The signal from beyond the galaxy is now clear. It is not just one source, it's a network. A hive, hundreds of them, maybe thousands." Lieutenant Jara whispered. "We've only been fighting scouts. The real war hasn't even started." Commander Vrax nodded slowly. "The Shadowborn are waking up.
And they're coming?"
Captain Hale took a deep breath. "Then we need help. More than just humans and Zyphar," called an emergency council, one that had never been done before. On the space station orbiting Earth, leaders and ambassadors from over 20 alien species gathered. Some were old allies, some were former enemies. All of them had one thing in common now: fear of what was coming. Hale stood before them, his voice steady. "You've seen what they are. You've seen what they do. They don't care about planets or politics. They only want to feed." Some aliens argued. "We don't trust each other. What if this is a human trick? Why should we risk our worlds?" Commander Vrax stepped forward. "I once feared humans too, but I saw what they fight for. I saw what they protect. I saw them give hope to my people. If we stand apart, we fall. But if we stand together, we win."
Oh.
Then one by one, the leaders agreed. A new alliance was born, the Coalition of Light. Ships began arriving from different corners of the galaxy. Strange shapes, new colors, new weapons. Humans shared Project Unity. Zyphar trained new allies. In fast formation tactics, Athena linked with other A is to form a galaxy-wide defense network. The Aegis became the flagship of the Coalition, a symbol of unity. Days later, a signal arrived. The Shadowborn fleet was moving not to one planet, but to all of them. "They want to swallow everything," Athena said. "Stars, planets, thoughts, life." The Coalition made their stand in deep space, at the edge of the galaxy, near a dying sun. Thousands of ships formed a massive wall of defense. This time, it was not just about surviving, it was about ending the threat forever. Then the darkness came. The sky was swallowed by black shapes, moving like smoke but hitting like fire. The Shadowborn attacked without sound. Minds were pulled into fear. Memories twisted. Ships shook. But this time, the galaxy was ready. Human music echoed through the fleet, reminding everyone of what they were fighting for. The Zyphar launched. Their fastest interceptors. Other species unleashed weapons never seen before. Gravity bombs, mind shields, energy nets. Athena led the digital war, sending false signals, confusing the enemy, protecting the minds of the crews. Captain Hale gave the final command. Now, the Aegis fired the upgraded Unity core not at the creatures, but at the sun itself. The core mixed with the star's energy, creating a burst of light so bright it burned through the darkness. The Shadowborn screamed, their forms melting. One by one, they vanished, not just in space, but in every signal across the galaxy. The silence that followed was real, complete, and peaceful. The war was over. Back on Earth, people watched the stars and knew something had changed. Captain Hale looked at the galaxy map. We did what no one thought was possible. Vrax stood beside him, not because we were the strongest, but because we were united. Jera smiled. They scanned a human battleship once. Now they know we don't just build ships, we build hope. Athena's voice was soft. Humanity is no longer alone. And with that, the Aegis sailed forward, into a new future, a galaxy no longer divided, and a peace that had been earned through courage, sacrifice, and unity. The end.